A pleasant good evening and welcome to Bethel Park Stadium on the campus of Bethel Park High School in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, as the Gateway Gators take on the Bethel Park Blackhawks in a WPIAL 5A non-conference matchup. Good to have you along with us here on Gateway Gators Productions as Gateway rolls on in the non-conference slate. They come off of a big victory last week on the road at Penn Hills. And a win for Gateway, Vince Russo, where not only did the Gators get the offense rolling, but more importantly, they got the running game going.
Absolutely. Jaquan Reynolds over 100 yards for the first time this season. The Gators were figuring out, they had a couple tailbacks. They started in the first couple games, figure out who's going to be that bell cow. I think Reynolds has established himself. He's averaging 5.3 yards a carry thus far on the season, and he really ran the ball better as the game went on at him. He really helped them grind that win out as they kind of tried to shorten that second half. Things got chippy between the two teams, and they leaned on Reynolds to get them out safely with a win. He took care of the ball, made relatively good choices, a little chippy, got a personal foul penalty, but all in told, it looks like he's going to be someone they can rely on moving forward.
Taking a look at this Bethel Park team on the offensive side of the football, they have a Division I quarterback, and they've got a running back that can get things done.
They do. Troy Volpatti has been the catalyst for this offense. Almost 500 yards from scrimmage in the first 3 games, 7 touchdowns. And Max Blank, he's being billed as a D1 recruit going to Youngstown State, as we have seen and we've talked about off air, but he's yet to put together a real signature performance, I think, and hasn't really sparked. I got to see him in week 0 against Mount Lebanon. Now, granted, that's a 6A team. That's a team that's contesting for a title in that division, but he did not look super sharp. So it'll be interesting. They bring a lot of linemen back on both sides of the ball. We'll see if they can establish some time for him to settle in the pocket, throw the ball downfield.
Now, Vince, talking about those linemen on both sides of the ball, a lot of size for Bethel Park. Very similar to a team we saw a couple of weeks ago in TJ with a lot of size and a deep team.
Yeah, they've got nearly 10 guys that are 240 pounds or heavier, so they have no lack of size on the interior, a lot of depth there, and they're probably going to want to rely on that. Maybe they have that film from TJ, and that's really been the only team that had kryptonite for this Gateway Gators team that's so explosive on both sides of the ball, so physical on both sides of the ball. So we'll see what happens, but I do expect Bethel Park to come out and try and establish the run against the Gators.
And if Bethel Park does that, they take on a Gateway defense that's very strong up the middle. We took a look at some of the numbers before the game, and straight up the middle, we see Aiden Smith, Carson Engelke at the safety and middle linebacker spot, respectively, leading the team in tackles.
Yeah, Remy Bowes and Hunter Dow all with over 20 tackles apiece in the first 3 games collectively. They've got a ton of strength there, and they've been pretty stingy overall. Even though TJ had a couple big plays in that lone loss on the season, this is a defense that only allowed 21 points when they were on the field for much of that game. So I anticipate a low-scoring contest with a few big key plays from Gateway that might push them over the top in this one.
Back deep to return for the Bethel Park Blackhawks, Jack Kirchner, and the aforementioned Troy Volpatti. And kicking off for the Gateway Gators will be Cole Plaskin. Plaskin has had some great moments this season, and he's had some struggling moments this season, most especially a couple of weeks back against TJ.
Yeah, nailed the 37-yard field goal that looked like it would have been good from about 50, and then kicked one out of bounds on a kickoff that set Thomas Jefferson up with really good field position. But he's been reliable overall, put a few in the end zone last week against the Indians, and he's been solid.
And we are underway in Bethel Park, PA, as this kick carries to the near sideline. Volpatti on the return for Bethel Park. He'll cut it to the right-hand side, sliding his way forward. He's undercut at around the 20-yard line, as the tackle is made by who else but Elijah Heller. Also involved in the tackle for Gateway is Donovan Biggs.
Heller with a fumble recovery last week against Penn Hills, continues to just make so many plays when given the opportunity. So fun to watch him go out there and produce. And good job by the coverage team. Decent but not great field position for Bethel Park here to start.
Max Blank, the senior quarterback, under center, and flags fly before the snap. That's going to cost the Blackhawks. Oh, no, they're going to say offsides against the defense. Now, initially I saw the official making the motion on that far side that it was a false start against Bethel Park, but instead it will be that offsides against Gateway, costing the Gators 5 yards, giving Bethel Park a 1st and 5 at around the 27. Line to gain the 32.
Well, that's got to be frustrating. You game prep all week, come out and make a mistake on the first play from scrimmage.
Pitch to the right-hand side. It's Volpatti. Lowers the shoulder. Drives his way through the first tackle. The ball comes loose. It's scooped up. It's Engelke down the far sideline and into the end zone for a Gateway touchdown. Volpatti with the fumble. The strip by the Gators. The scoop by Carson Engelke. And into the end zone goes the former quarterback, now the Gators safety.
Well, that's one way to make up as a defensive unit after a procedural penalty as we take another look here. See where the ball comes out. Engelke forced a fumble last week as well, and you see the ball is definitely out before the ball carrier gets to the ground. Engelke wisely keeping his eye on the ball, keeping his eye on the play. First one to pick it up. He's off to the races.
And as we took a look at that strip, it was Engelke with the strip, the scoop, and the score. And now he's out there for the long snap. As it'll be Plaskin for the PAT. The holder, and as Jordan, as the PAT is up, and that kick is good. And with 11 minutes, 42 seconds to play in the first quarter, it's Gateway 7 and Bethel Park 0. And Vince, these are two teams that met a season ago, and it was all Gators in Monroeville, Pennsylvania in that non-conference matchup early in the season.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Bethel Park is able to bring that physicality and establish a run and make life difficult for Gateway. But what you always deal with when you're facing against this Gators team is they just have so many playmakers all over the field on both sides of the ball. As much as we talk about their offense and their ability to go deep to Ricariel or Patrick Bodie and take the lid off offensively for other defenses, they've been solid defensively, and they haven't generated many turnovers this year. Just 2 turnovers in the first 3 games. Last year, we saw them do a much better job in the secondary of intercepting passes and generating more opportunities for their offense. But they're a scoop and a score early, and my goodness, I don't even think the band hasn't even gotten set up yet for Bethel Park. We've already got points on the board.
So we talked about these two teams meeting last season, 2 years ago. They played in the WPIAL playoffs. The Gators won that game en route to a WPIAL championship in 2019, a game they went on to use as a springboard to a WPIAL title, their second in the course of 3 years. And Plaskin's kickoff coming to the near boundary again, where Volpatti will catch it over his head at around the 6-yard line. Trying to cut it upfield. He's wrapped by a couple of Gators. Leading the charge for Gateway is Inez Jordan, also involved in the tackle, Amari Haynes. And it'll be 1st and 10 for Bethel Park, deep in their own territory at the 16.
Yeah, excellent kick, excellent coverage. Everyone speeds down the field, but they stay in their lanes. You see a really good job there by Inez Jordan. Again, breaking down, not running past the ball carrier. Volpatti tried to go with the spin move there, and he's elusive as much as he is physical, but a good job there. And now the field position game becomes a factor. We'll see what happens here. Bethel Park can generate a little confidence.
Blank under center, going to go to Volpatti, and he's hit, wrapped, and brought down in the backfield, a 2-yard loss as Hunter Dow makes the tackle. So far we've talked a lot about Dow up front, Aiden Smith in the middle, and then the safety spot, Engelke, and all 3 of them have made impacts defensively thus far.
And those are your upperclassmen. Those are the guys that you lean on. They've had experience. They've made plays in the past. Not surprising.
Blank in the shotgun, pitches to the right for Volpatti, has some blockers in front of him, but it is Aiden Smith shedding a blocker, making the stop after a modest gain. Chasing from behind for the Gators is Demetrius Harper as well.
Yeah, that's who I'm really impressed with. Harper coming from the other side of the field, that pursuit, that speed. You know, not only is this a physical defense, but they just have so many athletes out there. Take another look. Wasn't blocked, but just look at that speed in pursuit. Volpatti nowhere to go, couldn't get the edge, and not many teams really have. Julian Duggar was able to a few times last week. He's an exceptional athlete, but unless you're a Julian Duggar or a Deontay Williams with that next level speed, you're not going to get to the edge.
Blank in the shotgun, going to the air, looking to the near side. The pass too strong as it's intended for the near boundary for Austin Kay. His number mate Elijah Heller in coverage for Gateway.
Yeah. Blackhawks sidelines wanting the penalty there for pass interference, but if you look, it looks just sort of like both players get their feet tangled just a little bit, incidental contact. And so I say play on. I tend to agree with that call. I think they made the right call there.
So punt unit on for Bethel Park after 3 and out, after they go 2 plays and out on their first attempt, and it's going to be a fake punt running to the near side left. is the punter, Cody Geddes. And against a fast team like Gateway, that is definitely ill-advised as the play is made by Inez Jordan. So 2 big special teams plays by Inez Jordan on 2 straight special teams attempts. On the kickoff return for Bethel Park, followed up by making the play there on the fake punt.
Yeah, Adam, I got to say, I don't get that. I don't get that play call at all. I mean, you're inside your own 20. You're already a little rattled after having a turnover taken to the house. And you want to, as a coach, you want to put your team in positions to be successful. And I just don't know that one was well thought through. And now Gateway's knocking on the door. It's a goal-to-go situation here before they even snap the ball.
Yeah, first and goal from the 9 for the Gateway Gators. Birch in the shotgun with a sidecar to his right-hand side, and it's Jaquan Reynolds, the ball carrier, lowering the shoulder, driving his way to around the 5-yard line before he's brought down. Leading the charge for Bethel Park, Joe Timmons for Bethel Park. Timmons, kind of a jack of all trades for Bethel Park.
He is. He's one of a couple different athletes they can really rely on.
Reynolds to the ground, driving his way through tacklers, shoving his way towards the goal line. And the Blackhawks will keep him out of the end zone, so it'll be 3rd down and goal inside of the 1. Reynolds just couldn't push his way past Aiden Curry, amongst others, for Bethel Park.
Yeah, great second effort there. Keeps the legs pushing. His linemen come in to push from behind, all trying to get them there. Credit to the Blackhawks, able to make a stand there, but again, you put yourself in a precarious position. You go with the fake punt, and all of a sudden now you got a 3rd and goal at the 1-yard line.
Shotgun again. Birch with Reynolds to his right-hand side. Handoff. Reynolds drives his way to the line of scrimmage. Nothing doing there as he's driven back after getting back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th and goal at the 1-yard line. Decision time for Don Hall, the coach for the Gateway Gators.
And they're going to keep the offense out there on the field. Yeah. Believe so. Yeah. Got the other Birch brother coming in. You got the substitution of Malachi Moore, but you don't see Plaskin coming on.
Handoff. Reynolds has a crease over right tackle. This time into the end zone. He'll go for the 1-yard touchdown run for Gateway. And with 8:46 to play, Gateway has extended their lead to 13-0 over Bethel Park.
And this is a Bethel Park offense that did find some traction against Baldwin. They put 35 up on the board, 27 last week against Cannon Mac after being shut out week 1. Talk about last season, they only scored 49 points over 7 games, and so they've got to dig deep. They've got to get a productive drive going here if they want to stick around in this one.
Plaskin on to attempt the PAT out of the hold of Inez Jordan, and the snap of Engelke, and the 3 pieces work together for the PAT, and the score is now 14-0 Gateway over Bethel Park with 8:46 to play here in quarter number 1. And the Gators get the takeaway on the first possession. That leads to points. A fake punt deep inside of Blackhawk territory, and with a speedy team like Gateway, Inez Jordan makes the play. Gateway, 4 plays later, into the end zone, a Gators touchdown. And all of a sudden, it is 14-0, the Gators over the Blackhawks.
What I'm really interested to see here, Adam, is we've seen this before. We've seen the Gators put 14 on the board real quick. Maybe not this quick necessarily, but then that attention to detail after they build that lead has gone away. We saw it against Delaware Valley where they put 26 on the board, then didn't score again. We saw Penn Hills coming out of that second half. They give up a couple scores. Now they got back on track before the end of the game. But what I'm really looking for here out of the Gators, and certainly credit to the Blackhawks, I believe this is a team that can compete and get back into this game. But if you're the Gators and you're expected to be the favorite in 5A, which everyone said coming into the season, this is one of the teams that we expect to see at Heinz Field. They got to come out here and just lay it on for a whole 48 minutes and walk out of here with no doubt that they cleaned up, that they were the better team overall.
At minimum 36 minutes until you start to get those substitutes in into the fourth quarter for sure. As this kick will go to Volpatti. Volpatti running to the right-hand side. White jerseys everywhere. Nowhere to go for Volpatti. Tackle this time made by Kenny Lewis, the freshman. 5'7", 150. Kenny Lewis, the wide receiver and defensive back, making the special teams play there.
If you're on this kick return unit, I mean, you got to find someone. That's your job. Turn your head, find a gold helmet, go after them. There was no pursuit there. I mean, no real initiative from the Blackhawks. The Gators, you saw those guys like they were shot out of a cannon. You got 5 guys centered around Volpatti before he can even get to the 15.
All kinds of movement by Bethel Park as they shift to bringing the wing to the near side left. Motion man from left to right is Kirchner. Kirchner running to that right-hand side. Not a lot of room for him as closing the angle quickly. Carson Engelke. And a modest gain there for the Blackhawks brings up second down and about 7.
Talked about it once already, but this is a team where if your strategy is going to be trying to go east-west and getting outside, it's going to be a long, long evening. The Gators just have so much speed all over their defensive unit. They do a good job of staying home and wrapping up, too.
Blank in the shotgun, trips to his left. Now he'll motion Volpatti to a sidecar to his left-hand side. Play action. Pressure on Blank. Toss to the near side left. Looking for Austin K. Heller in coverage. But the pass well off the mark, and coming right up the backside of the QB was Matthew Brooks, the 6'2 junior.
Yeah, that forced the long throw. Ran out of time. That internal clock starts to speed up when you got gold helmets hovering right around you, and so Blank just let that one fly to save his own butt, and well over the mark.
Straight drop back. Blank looking across the middle. The pass too high for the intended receiver, Kirchner, as he gets a shoulder from Engelke.
Saw this in week 0 as well. Blank, one of the issues that he has had is not overly accurate with the football. Can throw it down the field, but that doesn't matter all that much if you can't put it where it needs to be. He's just 30 for 62 on the season, completion percentage under 50%. Easy to see why here in the early going.
Cody Geddes.
What do you think,
the
Adam?
Punter.
Another fake here?
I don't think I would try it again. You already got your hand caught in the cookie jar. This time it's a block punt by the Gators, and it's going to be scooped up. No, Heller lets it go down to the turf, and then it'll be covered up by Geddes, so it will be Gateway football way back at the 3-yard line of Bethel Park. So the special teams playing a huge role thus far. Big plays on kickoff team. A stop on a fake punt, a block punt there. Heller was trying to get the scoop and score there. Couldn't do so, but still Gateway set up in great position. First and goal at the 3.
You know what, Adam? That might be what has been the strength of this Gators team this year, which is not surprising because that was a big weakness last year. Special teams came back to bite the Gators in the butt quite a few times, so makes sense that there's a lot of attention to detail, and their special teams units have been excellent. That's got to be the 3rd or 4th block punt that they have here in the first 4 games of the season. They've been exceptional.
Birch in the shotgun, sidecar to his right is Reynolds. Gators play action. Near side right, the pass intended for Patrick Bodie, incomplete. And that'll bring up second and goal from the 3-yard line as the connection to the future Cincinnati Bearcat doesn't quite come around.
I felt a bit forced. You put yourself in a position where that DB is just a little faster and jumps the route. They've got an easy pick 6 opportunity. I say go back to Reynolds here.
Ground game obviously worked well last week against Penn Hills. Thus far, the Gators have been able to get some push, including a rushing touchdown, as this time it's going to be an option to the right. Birch pitches to the near side right, and into the end zone goes Dallas Harper. Option right, Gateway touchdown.
Well-designed play. A bit of a change of pace after going north-south here to start for the first drive with Reynolds. They key in on him, and you get a playmaker out in open space. That's all you really can ask for offensively is get your playmakers in open space. Harper able to get it across the goal line there.
PAT for the Gators. That's up and in. And with 7:31 to play here in quarter number 1, Gateway has extended their lead to 21-0 over the Bethel Park Blackhawks. So you see the option running to the right-hand side, the pitch, and into the end zone goes Dallas Harper. Looked in the rearview mirror thus far for the Gateway Gators. Let's take a look at what is in the windshield for Gateway. Of course, today at Bethel Park, Next week, big home game against Pine Richland, a game that we didn't get an opportunity to see a year ago when those two teams were number 1 and 2 respectively in 5A. Pine Richland has slipped back with a couple of losses thus far this year, but still a very formidable opponent. And then Gateway goes into conference play with a home game against Latrobe on homecoming on October 1st before they hit the road at Penn Trafford, host the Wolverines and the Connellsville Falcons before wrapping up the regular season against Franklin Regional on October 29th.
Yeah, next week will be a really big litmus test for this program. I'm really excited. Still really regret that we didn't get that game last year. What a showdown that would have been between Cole Spencer and Derek Davis, but still will be a really, really awesome game next week.
Plaskin will kick off for the Gateway Gators. 6'1" junior kicker. And again, the end-over-end kick to the right-hand side where Volpatti will be on the return, this time from the 9, taking it straight up the field before cutting right. And he'll be wrapped and brought down by Jameer Harbor. Little drive after the initial contact across the 25 to the 26, but still Bethel Park is backed up inside of their own 30, and the Bethel Park Blackhawks haven't been able to get anything going offensively. And on the other side of the ball, their defense has been backed up with their backs against the wall.
Yeah, really a no-win situation. As far as situational football goes, the Gators could not have asked for anything better out of the first 5 minutes of this game. You talk about the schedule. I thought this might be a trap game coming in here with Pine Richland on the schedule next week, and credit to the Gators. They wasted no time in proving me wrong on that.
Counter coming to the near side left, but it is blown up. Great job reading the pulling guard coming by Demetrius Harbor. Shouldered the blocker, made the stop in the backfield, and that's a loss of 4, bringing up 2nd down and 14.
Yeah, he blew that one up. I mean, before it even gets to Volpatti, he's already right in his grill. Just an excellent job. For what's supposed to be a strength for Bethel Park, they're getting manhandled at the line of scrimmage thus far.
We'll take a look at the size up the middle. Christopher Horton, 6 foot, 320-pound nose tackle for the Gateway Gators. He's absorbing blockers, and then that allows other guys to get towards the quarterback, including on that play where pressure came initially from the outside and then up the middle. Hunter Dow will make the tackle amongst others for Gateway.
Just suffocating. I mean, Blank's got nowhere to go, nothing to do, no time to get comfortable. So we saw already a couple passes downfield. The timing is off, the touch is off. And a lot of that is because he's got Gateway Gators all around him before he can even think about going through his reads, going through his progression as a quarterback.
Trips to the right-hand side. Toss to that right-hand side as Max Blank finds the receiver in Jack Kirchner. Kirchner is brought down well short of the line to gain across the 30 to the 31-yard line. So while it is a gain of about 11 out to that 31, it's still 4th down and 5. So decision time here for Coach DeLallo after Kirchner got tripped up by the 30-yard line.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to keep the offense out. I mean, I guess you're down 21 here in the first quarter, but all I can think about is if you don't get this, you give the Gateway offense another short field to work with.
Gateway shows blitz hard count, and Matthew Brooks breaches that neutral zone. And that's going to be enough for the Bethel Park first down, their first offensive first down of the game.
Smart move there by Coach DeLallo. Good execution. Nobody jumps for Bethel Park, and so, hey, get the first down. Don't even have to run a play. Sometimes it's work smarter, not harder.
Short wing to the right, 2 receivers left. Motion man from left to right is Kirchner. Kirchner's going to take the jet sweep handoff. He's going to be wrestled down over there on that far side as the tackle is made by Matthew Brooks.
Credit to Kirchner. He took a pop there, and at only 170 pounds, he was able to keep motoring through. I mean, he took on Engelke there, and he took on Lewis Douglas. And Douglas has about 50 pounds, if not more, on Kirchner, but he absorbed the contact and didn't go down.
Yeah, I misspoke there. It was Lewis Douglas who made the tackle, the defensive end for Gateway. As Gateway shows blitz here, the ball's down on the turf. Still bobbled around and will be covered up by Gateway, and I think it's Engelke with the fumble recovery. Nose for the football. Carson Engelke with the fumble recovery after the handoff between the quarterback and the back goes awry. Gateway with the takeaway, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Gators at the 31.
He has made himself so valuable to this defensive unit, to this team overall. As a long snapper and as someone who's just generated so many plays. Stripped the ball last week against Penn Hills, created a turnover, already has 2 this week, 1 a scoop and score. My goodness. Again, on that play you saw the Gators are in the backfield before they even know what they're going to do with the ball. And that was completely why that fumble was created. Quarterback gets pushed, the ball gets jarred loose. Short field again for the Gators.
Birch in the shotgun, play action, looks right the whole way, throws to the right-hand side, looking for his brother, Brett, and the pass is tipped by a D-back. Brett Birch caught it, but they're going to say he was out of bounds before corralling the pass.
Oh, man, I want to see this one. I'm not so sure. He might not have drug a foot here at the end. I mean, regardless, a gorgeous catch. Let's take a look.
So the tip by the defensive back, ball still in the air, and Birch, I don't think he has full possession, and that foot may be on the line.
Yeah.
So, in live action, I can see that definitely being incomplete with a white shoe, white line right around that 1 yard line.
An incredible effort, though.
Undoubtedly. Play action again. Toss to the near side right. It's Bodie. Bodie still on his feet as he takes it inside of the 20 and is wrestled down by Jack Riley. But that's enough for a Gateway first down on the gain of 11. And into the red zone go the Gators, 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line.
I mean, when you got playmakers like that are just so talented, you talk about a guy like Bodie. He speaks for himself with getting the offer to Cincinnati, but don't overcomplicate things. I think at some points this season with some of these interceptions Birch has thrown, it's been trying to push the ball down the field a little bit too much at inopportune times or times where they didn't have to take those shots. I like a play design like that. Just get it into your playmaker's hands. He's going to be tough to bring down.
2 receivers left, 1 to the near side right, screen to the near side right. Breaking through tacklers all the way down inside of the 5 goes Jaquan Reynolds before he's finally shouldered out of bounds at the 4, or they'll mark it back at the 5. Regardless, it's a 15-yard gain. Gators first down, 1st and goal for Gateway.
Yeah, exactly the same thing. Get it to your playmakers in space. Reynolds has been great the last couple weeks, catching the ball out of the backfield, getting the sidecar handoff out of the shotgun. You see, again, so elusive. Good vision there.
Reynolds stutter steps down towards the goal line. They'll mark him down at around the 2, maybe the 1 yard line, where it'll be 1st and goal for Gateway after a gain of 4 on that 1st and goal. Brings up 2nd down and goal at the 1 as Gateway speeding things up here as they'll go right back to the line of scrimmage. Shotgun, handoff. Reynolds met at the goal line, trying to back his way in, but cannot. That's the 2nd time today where we see him stacked up at the goal line and can't quite get it into the end zone.
So I wouldn't be surprised here if they go with that option to the outside. Believe they handed off to Dallas Harper the last time. Going north to south hasn't worked. Try to get out. Because while on the other side, Bethel Park doesn't have the speed to get to the outside, the Gateway Gators certainly do. Wouldn't surprise me if they pitch this one out wide.
Birch to the left, cuts forward, spins, and he'll be brought down a yard deep in the backfield at around the 2. So a loss on that play and a rare loss for the Gateway offense. It'll be 4th and goal for the Gators. And Don Hall with a decision here on 4th and goal. They'll say at around the 2. They'll say the 3 now.
I would think up 21-0 be an opportunity to give your kicker a rep. Get some of that practice in. You never know, late in a Pine Richland or a Penn Trafford or the playoffs, you're in a 23-21 game and a field goal sends you to Heinz Field or wins you a title.
Warm night here in western Pennsylvania, but it is beautiful. Sky's pretty clear, but some clouds over towards that beautiful moon. Pretty humid evening. Temperature right now says 65, but it certainly feels warmer. It was up into the 80s earlier today. Light wind. The sun just on the horizon, about to set in about 25 minutes or so on this Beautiful night for high school football in southwestern Pennsylvania. Penultimate non-conference game for the Gateway Gators before they take on Pine Richland next week. And 2 straight home games for Gateway. The Rams at home next Friday night. It's community night. And then it will be homecoming the following week on October 1st.
They're going to keep the offense out there, Adam.
So Birch in the shotgun, Reynolds to his left. He'll hand off. Reynolds takes it to the right. Into the end zone, he'll go for a Gateway touchdown.
Close call, but he was able to extend that upper body before his knees hit the turf. Reynolds in for the second time tonight. Good on the Gators are keeping it on the ground, not giving. It's smart play calling, it's safe play calling. Don't do anything that's going to generate a turnover. Birch, 5 interceptions on the season. They kept it on the ground, and now you really start to make this a no-doubter.
And as we took a look at that replay, we saw Reynolds laying on top of the football inside of the end zone for the Gateway touchdown. And yet again, it was Reynolds getting his face mask grabbed on the way to that goal line as the PAT for Plaskin is up and in, and Gateway has extended their lead to 28-0. And you talked about Reynolds a week ago getting a little feisty, a personal foul in the second half, and it was prompted by him having his head turned almost the whole way around on a face mask by a Penn Hills Indian that wasn't called.
That's what I was just going to say. It didn't help that it wasn't called, certainly. And there was no love lost on either side in a big rivalry game there, not to excuse any behavior of that sort whatsoever. And both sides eventually cooled down, and by the time we got to the fourth quarter, things had mellowed a decent amount. But, yeah, I don't know if it's him being a little shorter, what exactly causes that issue with him getting so frequently grabbed at the face mask. Reynolds just 5'7", but he has seen that in multiple games, multiple times this season thus far.
I remember when I played both at the high school level and at the semi-pro level, we did have a shorter group of running backs at both of those levels, and that running back did have a propensity to get his face mask grabbed because of how short he was in comparison to the guys that were on the other side of the football. You know, you reach out. If you're, let's say, 6 feet tall and you reach out with your arm, you're about 5'7". So 2:03 to play here in quarter number 1. Gateway 28, Bethel Park 0. Good to have you along with us here on Facebook, YouTube, and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. As this kick will take a bounce to Volpatti at around the 7-yard line. He'll cut it up the gut. A hole opened up for a second before Bakari L makes the tackle, and a flag flew in. Some sort of illegal block by Bethel Park is going to cost them some yardage. Donovan Biggs immediately started clapping as he may have been the recipient of the aforementioned illegal block.
Yeah, they've really focused in on those on the special teams plays, especially we've seen a couple times this season. Crackback blocks being called, things like that. There's been a lot of changes over time in what's been allowed and not allowed when it comes to those special teams plays.
Blackhawks will go from the near sideline straight to the line of scrimmage with the quarterback Max Blank in the pistol with Volpatti behind him. Play action. Blank looks to the near side left, and the pass behind the intended receiver. As the pass was intended for Kirchner, the coverage by Kenny Lewis for Gateway.
Good coverage. Just a bad throw there by Blank. Again, hadn't had any time to settle in or really feel comfortable. He had a little bit of time there. Certainly were some Gators coming in, but he was able to get that one off, albeit behind his receiver. But again, Blackhawks deep in their own territory. Not ideal to start the drive.
Handoff going to the right-hand side is Volpatti, and Volpatti will drive his way forward, picking up a modest gain. Bring up third down. Lewis Douglas involved in the tackle for the Gateway Gators. And it's 3rd and 8 for Bethel Park, ball on the right hash.
You got to go to the air, but you wonder, Can this offensive line give Blank enough time to throw?
Blank looking down the left seam. The pass intended for Ryan Petrus is incomplete. Is again on the coverage. Kenny Lewis for Gateway. Demetrius Harper also back there in the secondary for the Gateway Gators.
Well, we had enough time. Again, a little bit too much on it, but seemed like not the best adjustment there by the receiver to try and get to that one. I'm going to put that one more on number 1 than I am number 10.
So the punt unit out there again, it's Cody Geddes, 6'1 senior, who attempted an ill-advised fake punt running to the left, and he was brought down by Inez Jordan, setting up one of the Gateway touchdowns today. This one will be kicked away, and it will be fair caught by Brett Birch inside of Bethel Park territory. And this is the worst starting field position today for the Gateway Gators, and it's still inside of Blackhawks territory at the 48.
I mean, we have the potential to have a running clock in the first quarter. Now, I think a lot of people at home and a lot of people around, after watching last year's game between these two teams, even if you did just a little bit of research, Gateway was definitely the favorite coming into this one. But credit to the Gators. They have come out here and just laid haymakers left and right on all three facets of the game: offense, defense, special teams. They've clearly executed. They've been crisp in their execution. It's really been a perfect first quarter thus far. We'll see if they can punctuate it here with continuing a drive or even putting some more points on the board.
Brad Birch in the shotgun, yo-yo motion by Malachi Moore. And now it'll be Brett Birch motioning, looping, coming to the near side right. All kinds of time for Birch initially. Now sheds tacklers, still on his feet, and will be brought down inside of Gators territory. Aiden Curry makes the stop for Bethel Park. And this is the first time Gateway has possessed the ball inside of their own territory today.
And probably the only second play maybe that they've gone backwards offensively. Reynolds got stopped in the backfield down near the goal line, but other than that, it's been full steam ahead for the Gators on just about every play so far tonight.
So second down and 13 for Gateway, just under 30 seconds to go here in quarter number 1. Play action, Birch setting up the screen, finds Reynolds. Reynolds running to the left-hand side. Nice closing speed by the defensive end, Josh Leibel for Bethel Park, to make that stop after a gain of just 2 to the Bethel Park 49-yard line. That'll be the final play of the first quarter.
Yeah, Leibel at 6'4", 215 pounds. He can move. Got over to Reynolds in a hurry before that could really get set up whatsoever.
So, Vince, as we take a look at the first 12 minutes of action for Gateway, they're really hitting on all cylinders. Offense, obviously moving the ball, even though they haven't been challenged very much today. Defensively, they look great, and special teams has really shown brightly.
I mean, my goodness, I don't think that they could have drawn up a more perfect first quarter. You're up 28-0, and yeah, every facet of their game thus far has been brilliant. Offensively, they're taking care of the football. We've seen turnovers be an issue thus far this season. They haven't turned the ball over. They've generated turnovers on both special teams and defense, and they've actually scored off of one of those with the fumble recovery from Engelke. Their kick coverage has been excellent. They're staying in their lanes. Bethel Park hasn't had a chance to have any decent field position. They've won that field position battle to such an extent that it's created such easy operations for their offense. They're getting the ball at the red zone or greater just about every time. Like I said, this is the worst field position they've had. They're in enemy territory once again.
It's got to be frustrating for Bethel Park, a team who has battled and battled hard all season long, and they are really behind the 8 ball as they head into the second frame.
Yeah, it's hard to stay with it mentally in games like this, but you only get so many of these opportunities to go out and compete. There's still a lot of pride. You go out there, you practice all week, you want to show up, you want to make plays in front of your friends, your family, the band, everyone, and so it's an opportunity for these guys, just win this quarter. Try and win this quarter, give yourself a shot here in the second half.
And the second quarter is underway as the Gators go to the ground. A pitch to the near side left. It's Reynolds shedding tackler, still on his feet. He's got the first down and more before he's finally undercut by one Blackhawk and brought down with a shoulder by Josh Leibel. Down at the ankles was Jack Kirchner. But again, that was enough for a Gateway first down. 1st and 10 for the Gators at the 31-yard line. A pickup on that play of 18.
Good IQ here, good awareness by Reynolds. You see him tiptoe around. He knows where that sideline's at. He's very aware, able to cut that back inside, get a few more yards after contact. He's been so hard the last couple weeks to bring down.
Motion man from left to right brings a wing and 2 receivers to the right. Run to the near side left, though. And Reynolds with nowhere to go is yet again Josh Leibel involved in the tackle for Bethel Park. The lanky 6'4" defensive end has certainly made an impact thus far on the defensive side for Bethel Park on this drive.
Yeah, ball hawk so far. He's been excellent. Birch held on to that one maybe just a little bit too long before making a decision, but I don't know that any way he would have went with that football would have been all that productive. Credit to Bethel Park, really sound defensive, just closing in on all the lanes there.
2 receivers right and a wing to the right now, motioning to the left-hand side. Receiver to the near side left as well. Birch, play action. Going to heave Howitt straight down the seam into the arms of Patrick Bodie for a gateway touchdown, covering 35 yards.
Just a little pitch and catch. Bodie with that breakaway speed. No contest. Got a jump, split the 2 defenders. And Birch, that was a beautiful ball there. He just dropped that one right into the back of the end zone, and Bodie just went and got it.
And when we saw Gateway start this season against Thomas Jefferson in week number 1, we knew that there was going to be an adjustment period for Brad Birch, the sophomore quarterback, moving from single A at Jeanette to 5A at Gateway. And he's really starting to settle in well. He's getting some protection. And right there, he showed why he's a future Division I quarterback with that toss to Patrick Bodie. As Plaskin's PAT is up and in, Gateway has extended their lead to 35-0 with 10:49 to play here in quarter number 2. So if this lead stays at 35 or greater into the second half, we will move into that modified timekeeping system, that rolling clock that'll send folks home early.
Only in the second half? They don't do it in the first?
I do not believe so.
Interesting. I did not know that. But to your point, yeah, that was a gorgeous throw. An excellent, excellent throw to put it where only his receiver could make a play on it, and the receiver did.
Talked about Bethel Park being 1-2 thus far this season, with losses to Mount Lebanon and Cannon Mac, sandwiched around a victory on the road at Baldwin. Today's game against Gateway, then they will travel to Murraysville to take on Franklin Regional. Then they move into conference play against West Allegheny on the road at South Fayette before hosting Peters Township, a team that's just down the road here in the South Hills, before traveling to the number 1 team in 5A, the Moon Tigers, and Upper St. Clair wraps up the regular season for Bethel Park.
Yeah, I think it's hard to really get a full read on the Bethel Park Blackhawks right at this moment. You look at that schedule. You start off your season with 3 matchups against 6A teams, and you take on the preseason favorite in 5A. So they've had a real gauntlet here to start the season, but I'll be really interested to see how that prepares them for their upcoming conference slate.
Cole Plaskin to kick off. As this knuckler bounces past the return man and into the end zone for a touchback after Jack Kirchner couldn't scoop it up cleanly at around the 10-yard line.
Honestly, that was probably fortuitous for the Blackhawks, because that's some of the best field position they've had so far this evening, and could have been a real crisis there if he doesn't get to that one quickly. But how about those Moon Tigers?
Yeah, I actually wanted to touch on that as we see Bethel Park go straight from the sideline to the line of scrimmage. The Moon Tigers, with a big offensive line and a big running game, really making noise in 5A. As this pitch goes to that left-hand side, Volpatti, basically with nowhere to go, has enough momentum to drive his way across the line of scrimmage, and a gain of about 2 or 3, bringing up 2nd down and 8, and getting back to Moon. They're really making noise at the 5A level.
Yeah, they're in the state top 5 rankings for the first time. They put together some really complete performances against some really good teams, Seneca Valley to name one, and that's a team that might be tough for Gateway after we see what happened with Thomas Jefferson.
Screen pass to Volpatti, and Volpatti is met. There was a lot of greenery in front of him, but coming out of nowhere, the defensive end, Lewis Douglas, grabs him up around the shoulders and wraps him and brings him down for a gain of about 1 or 2. It'll be 3rd down and about 6 from the 24.
Yeah, an excellent job there, not getting fooled and able to just keep him upended long enough to where he can get help in there, and you see a bunch of Gators flocking in to bring down Volpatti.
Clock winding, 9:37 to play as an end around. Going to that far sideline is Kirchner, and Kirchner will drive his way forward across the 30. He's got enough for a Bethel Park 1st down. As the Gators slow to get to his feet initially, but will be helped up. And I think that's Brooks. The Gators slow to get up, but he's going to stay in the game at least for the moment.
Decent end around, decent play design there. Little misdirection, you're not sure who's exactly going to get the ball.
Shotgun, play action, pressure applied. Lowering the shoulder is Max Blank, and he'll be brought down a yard deep in the backfield as it's Aiden Smith making the stop for Gateway. Also in on the stop, Matthew Brooks.
And nowhere to go once again. A little bit of time to throw, but good coverage downfield. So Blank feels the pressure, pulls the ball down. But then again, everyone stays home for Gateway, so nowhere for him to really go. They've just executed at such a high level tonight.
Clock winding, 8 minutes, 35 seconds to play in the 2nd quarter. Down to the ground go the Blackhawks. It's Volpatti wiggling his way through traffic for a gain of about 3 or 4. Spot the ball at the 34-yard line, so ultimately a gain of 3 before the tackle is made by Asante Martin, the 6'2 senior defensive tackle.
We'll see upcoming if they can complete one downfield. They haven't connected on any pass that hasn't been a screen. They're going to have to go to the air here.
Blank across the middle. Completes the pass at the 50-yard line, leaping up and making the catch is Kirchner. Tackle made by Elijah Heller, but not before a 1st down for Bethel Park. And they'll mark him down shy of the midfield stripe at the 49.
Well, it's the first time tonight we've seen Blank step up and deliver a dart in the pocket. Good poise. Put that one right on the money as receiver went up and got it. Now they're knocking on the door, potentially getting into enemy territory for the first time tonight. If nothing else, they can finally start to flip this field position game a little bit.
Twins left, wing and a tight end to the near side right. Play action, toss over to that left-hand side, and the pass intended for Aiden Curry is incomplete. Engel K on the coverage for the Gateway Gators, but that pass back shoulder instead of front shoulder, and that leads to the incompletion.
Yeah, it's those little things that make the difference between a quarterback and a really good quarterback. We've seen Birch time and time again put the ball in positions where his receivers can make a play. There, on this side, Blank not so much there. That one misplaced.
7:22 to play 2nd quarter as the Blackhawks go to the air. Nice open field move by the receiver, Austin Kay, and Kay races his way into Gators territory to the 36-yard line, where it'll be 1st down and 10 for Bethel Park.
Now that the quarterback has had a little bit of time to actually stand and survey the field, not feel that he's going to get swamped after 2-3 seconds in the pocket, he's been able to stand in there and deliver the ball downfield.
Play clock down to about 15 as Bethel Park will finally set at the line of scrimmage. Just under 7 minutes to play in the 1st half. Motion man from left to right is Kirchner. Pass to the far side left is incomplete. As the pass was intended for Derek Hassam. And again, back shoulder instead of front shoulder leads to the incompletion.
Yeah, it's frustrating. If you're going to make a mistake, that's fine. But what you hate to see as a coach is the same mistake getting made over and over. And that one, again, just put the ball on the wrong side of the receiver there. Makes it extremely difficult to come down with that one. So they have to reach back across their body as they're running down the field. Now you got 2nd and long.
Trips to the right-hand side. Pass from Blank, intended for Austin K, is incomplete. Engel K on the coverage. Help side defense coming from Elijah Heller, and that brings up 3rd down and 10.
I'll take another look. Still a good bit of time to throw, but need to lead the receiver a little bit more there. The touch just hasn't quite been there for number 10 tonight.
Clock stopped yet again, 6:34 to go here as the Gators breach the neutral zone on a long count by the quarterback, Max Blank.
That's Jameer Harbor. You don't normally see him make too many mistakes. The 6'1 senior generally is one of the more sound players defensively for Gateway, but you saw him tapping the front of his helmet like, I know better. I know better than this.
So timeout called by the Gateway Gators after the penalty against Gateway costing them 5 yards on this 3rd down and 5. Gives Bethel Park an opportunity to talk things over as well. We talked already about those 5A rankings, but let's take a look at all top 5 teams by the Trib High School Sports Network. Moon atop the rankings with a record of 3-0. Gateway 2-1 at number 2. Penn Trafford conference rivals also 2-1 at the 3rd place spot. North Hills moves up from number 5 to number 4, and Peters Township rounds out the top 5 as they make their way into the top 5 with a record of 2-1. The runners up from a season ago in 5A.
One team to watch that's not on here that start the season out 2-0 and look pretty good doing it is West Allegheny. That's a team to keep an eye on here in 5A. These Blackhawks will face off with them later down the line. Who knows? Gators might in the playoffs. Certainly going to be more room for some different matchups this year, going from 8 teams to 12, which I, for one, am excited about. Always exciting to see a few more teams make it in. Granted, kind of odd that in this case that's 2/3 of all the teams in the classification, but a little extra football never hurt anyone.
So 3rd and 5 for Bethel Park after both teams have an opportunity to talk things over with the Gators timeout. Pass to the near side right. Nice open field move by Ryan Petrus. Petrus headed towards the goal line, and he will be brought down right into the end zone. A step late was Bodie. A touchdown for Bethel Park, and that will cut the Gators' lead down to 35-6 with 6:24 to play here in the 2nd quarter.
And he's lucky he didn't get called for a horse collar there at the end. I think they kind of overlooked that, seeing as Petrus was in the end zone. But a great move there. Engel K just gets his ankles broke and then off to the races. Good speed, wins the foot race against Bodie. Yeah, you take a look. Well, he grabbed the jersey.
Yeah, and he was on the shoulder, not inside of the collar, so seemingly kosher there. But Petrus, the touchdown for the Bethel Park Blackhawks, and the PAT by Cody Geddes is up and in, and Bethel Park cracks the scoreboard. Or did the PAT fail?
It did not go through.
Okay, I apologize. I was actually looking down. I heard the band starting to play. I assumed that the PAT was good. And you know what assuming does. But anyway, it is 35-6 your score with 6:24 to play here in the 2nd quarter.
It'll be interesting to see what adjustments Gateway makes the next time that those 2 units are out on the field. If this is something that Bethel Park can build on and grow with, now the line has started to give a little bit of time for Blank to step up and fire downfield. He looked pretty good on that drive. Not too bad, a couple incompletions along the way, but put the ball where he needed to on a couple key throws there. And like I say, at the high school level, or really any level of football, it's about getting the ball into the hands of your playmakers in space. That was a well-designed play over to Petrus. He was able to make one man miss. Off to the races. Looks like Delalo's still upset down there about not getting the horse collar. I mean, it was a bit violent, and it looked a little bit painful down there. But I think you hit on it, Adam, right, that I don't, by the letter of the law, I don't think he did anything illegal.
Now, when you take a look at it on one hand, sure, Patrick Bodie had a hand on the back of the jersey, but the other hand was on the shoulder. So, from the official's angle, he's kind of behind the play. Bodie may be shielding him a bit. The question is, does Bodie have the hand on where the nameplate would be, or is he just on the shoulder initially? And, it's at this point splitting hairs as that kick will carry out of bounds at around the 30-yard line, as Bethel Park clearly not trying to kick it to the Gateway Gators. So it'll be 1st and 10 with the ball at around the 35-yard line.
I suppose that's not a terrible strategy, but you still give up the ball all the way to the 35-yard line. So, I don't think that he tried to deliberately kick it out of bounds. Probably tried to get it up to one of the front men and have them just fall. But, not so sure about that one.
If he's kicking it to the near side and he's kicking it to Engelke, he's shown a propensity to be able to run with the football, not just this year as a defensive player, scooping and scoring earlier today, in fact. But, a year ago we saw him run with the ball, and in his sophomore year when he was playing for the Gators at quarterback, we saw him run there too. Brad Birch is in the shotgun with Reynolds to his right. Play action. Birch tossing for Harper, incomplete. And that brings up 2nd down and 10.
Oh, Adam, there's not too many Gators that don't look good with the football in their hands in open space. They're a decent throw by Birch, just a little out in front. If you're Harper, you try and get both hands out there on the ball, not just the one. Again, one of those rare plays where Gateway doesn't have something substantially well going their way.
Game has slowed down significantly here in the second quarter since Bethel Park got the ball on their most recent drive. Lots of clock stoppages as Birch goes to the air. High pass, leaping up. Inez Jordan makes the catch. He'll carry it out across the 40 to around the 42 before he is brought down. And it'll be 3rd down and a pretty manageable 3 from the 42.
Yeah, he bailed his quarterback out there. He really got up for that one.
Jordan at just 5'9", great hops before he is wrapped and brought down by Aiden Curie.
Yeah, that's a heck of a vertical. And going from that 3rd and 10 situation to a 3rd and 3 allows you to open up the playbook just so much more. You can try to run it if you want. You don't have to throw the ball terribly far downfield. Maybe a screen pass.
2 receivers left, 1 to the far side right. Wing motions to the right. Gators to the ground. It's Reynolds. Has a big crease, still on his feet, inside of the 40. Finally brought down at around the 38-yard line. And a big gainer there for the Gateway Gators. A gain of about 19, and it's 1st and 10 for Gateway inside of Bethel Park territory at the 38.
And there you go. 3rd down, you might be looking for the pass play there. I don't know that Bethel Park was expecting that. Only 3 down linemen there, and so you see Reynolds, plenty of room to roam there. He gets to the 2nd level. That's maybe the one thing he doesn't have is that breakaway speed. But other than that, terrific run.
Play action. Birch tossing it wide open. Bodie, and somehow adjusts to the football in the air. A sliding catch as he will slide to the boundary, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Gateway inside of the red zone at the 16, maybe the 17.
Well, when you talk about someone who does have that breakaway speed, you take a look. If we get the replay up, they're getting back to the line pretty quick. He's able to just fly. He sees that ball in the air. You see him make the adjustment, get to it quickly, use that extra speed, and good awareness to stay in bounds as well.
Birch hands off. Reynolds running right, driving his way forward. Slid out of 1 tackle before being brought down by the 2nd wave. Tackle made by Jack Kirchner. But a decent gainer there of 4 brings up 2nd down and 6.
Another good hole for Reynolds there. Makes the first man miss. He's hard to bring down. Not the biggest back you're going to see here in 5A. Again, 5'7", 163 pounds. And he sure makes up for that in the way he runs the football.
2 receivers right, 1 to the near side left. Birch in the shotgun with Reynolds to his right. Play action. Toss to Bodie. Bodie Little slip screen, but nowhere to go there as he is met a yard deep in the backfield. Nice open field tackle by Gavin Mowell. 6'1" junior linebacker.
Yeah, good job there. Bodie normally is able to juke guys right out of their cleats, but he was not fooled. Wrapped him up a little high, but got the job done. Now you got a 3rd and long situation here. Right around the goal. I got to be careful where you're throwing the ball. Everything becomes a little bit smaller here. You don't got quite as much field to work with. And again, might go back to Reynolds.
Some confusion, and Gateway is going to use another timeout here with 3:22 to play in the second quarter. Gateway up 35-7, facing a 3rd down and 7 with the ball at the 14-yard line. Adam Gusky, Vince Russo on the call for you here on Facebook, YouTube, and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Time to take a look at the conference standings. In the Big East Conference, nobody has played conference play yet, but Gateway and Penn Trafford are both 2-1 on the year. Penn Trafford coming off of a loss a week ago to Bell Vernon. Franklin Regional 1-2, as is Latrobe. Woodland Hills is 1-2 thus far this season. And the Connellsville Falcons winless at 0-3 down at the bottom of the Big East Conference.
I'm excited to get into the conference games, Adam. They always just mean a little bit more. You know what's at stake, and you start to really see where these teams are gonna fill out for the season when it comes to the standings. Everything a little bit arbitrary right now, but once these teams start playing each other within the conferences, and you know who's legit, who you might be seeing play come November.
After some discussion, Gateway with the ball, 3rd and 7, sends trips to the left, tight end to the right of the formation, sidecar to the right-hand side of Birch. Birch pressured, rolls, tosses it back across the grain, finds his brother Brett, who gets down towards the 12-yard line, but no further. That'll bring up 4th down and about 5. And we'll see if Cole Plaskin comes on to kick a field goal. At this point, it would be about a 30-yarder from the right hash. Now the offense going to stay out there, Vince.
Again, I think it's such a good opportunity to give your kicker a chance to get some additional reps in under the lights and actual game action. You're up 29 points here in the second quarter. I would have brought the kicking unit out, but the way this offense has been clicking tonight, I understand it. I get why you keep the offense out there.
Birch, play action, tosses to Bodie. Bodie, one-handed catch for a Gateway touchdown. He reached out the left hand, pulled it in, kept the feet in bounds, and it's a Gators TD.
What a freakishly athletic play that was. My goodness. To be able to turn quickly on that timing route, identify the ball, stick one hand up quickly, and keep that concentration. He didn't just get one foot down. He got both inbounds there. Take another look. My goodness. And again, another good throw by Birch. Probably a little far outside, but, I mean, when you've got a playmaker like that in Bodie, you get a little bit of leeway there.
Just incredible play by Patrick Bodie, the future Cincinnati Bearcat. So Plaskin on to attempt the PAT. Is Gateway up 41-6, now up 42-6 as pressure applied, but Plaskin, cool as ice, makes the PAT.
You take a look at that. He just sort of pooched it, just tried to get it out of there as quickly as possible. My goodness, take another look at that catch. Just incredible. That
toe tap, that second foot in, just absolutely impressive. He had the left foot dragging the whole way. And the big left hand and the one-handed TD for Patrick Bodie. As the Gators have extended their lead to 42-6 with 2:28 to play here in the second quarter. Let's see if the defense can buckle down and shut down Bethel Park and keep them at just 6 points as we look towards the mid-game break.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what adjustments the Gators defense will make. Kind of got sliced up a little bit by that passing game, had a couple guys lose their footing. A couple good moves there by Kirshner and by Petrus. So we'll see what that looks like here on this upcoming drive, what they've learned, and Bethel Park can sustain some of this. They've scored more points in the past 2 games than they did all of last season. So clearly they're starting to turn the corner a little bit as an offensive unit, but
So Gateway right now up 42-6. Once we get into the second half, it will be a running clock situation. As this kick will carry inside of the 15 and will be returned by Ryan Petrus. Petrus into open field, and he's going to take it for a Bethel Park touchdown.
Flag along the sidelines, but I believe it's just a sideline warning. So that should stand. My goodness. Petrus made one move, then got to that backside. Kicker was there. Plaskin, he wasn't going to get him, though.
So 2 big plays thus far by Petrus, the freshman wide receiver. He caught the touchdown pass, and then there he has the kick return for a touchdown. And that cuts the Gateway Gators lead down to 30, 42-12 with the PAT upcoming.
One of the few blemishes we've seen on special teams thus far this year for the Gators. That's really been a strong suit for them. Those first several returns keeping Bethel Park at bay. For most of this game, Bethel Park started inside of their own 20, but that time, Petrus, he's got some wheels, found one avenue and just got it all the way home.
Good snap, good hold, and the kick is up, and that kick is good. And the Gators lead is now 42-13, a 29-point advantage for Gateway with 2:15 to play here in the second quarter.
$55 points in the first half. Makes you wonder where we're going to end up at by the end of this one.
Taking a look at Bethel Park's conference, the Allegheny Six, Moon 3-0, number 1 in the rankings, number 1 in the conference as far as their non-conference games go. West A 2-0 on the season. Peters Township 2-1, as is South Fayette. Upper St. Clair has won 2 of their 3 games. Bethel Park 1-2, and trailing the Gateway Gators 42-13 here in Bethel Park this evening. And taking a look at those Peters Township Indians, 2-1, part of the big game of the night, you'd have to say, in 5A and non-conference action out at Peters Township, Peters Township taking on Penn Trafford out in Westmoreland County.
That's another one of those litmus tests where we're going to find out a lot about both of those teams, especially Penn Trafford going to be chomping at the bit after getting blown out by Bell Vernon. Something about those 4A teams, Adam. Bell Vernon, Thomas Jefferson. We see another kick going toward the sidelines here. Engelke
dropped it and had to cover it up because charging quickly was Harliak for Bethel Park. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Gateway right near the 30-yard line. And just got a score update, in fact, from that Peters Township Penn Trafford game out in Penn Township. It's Peters Township 12 and the Penn Trafford Warriors 0, but Penn Trafford threatening to score.
Peters knocked these Gators out of the playoffs last season. Another one of those games where Gateway jumped out, took a commanding lead. But Peters is well coached, trying to go to their 3rd straight WPIAL final. They've always been the bridesmaid, not the bride, though. Haven't brought that title home yet, though. So that's a program that's still very hungry.
2 receivers right now. Reynolds motions out of the backfield to an empty set. Birch tossing it to his brother Brett Birch, but the pass behind brother Brett incomplete, and that brings up 2nd down and 10.
Good job getting out of trouble there, getting out of dodge, but just, again, we talked about both of these quarterbacks tonight, putting the ball on the wrong shoulder a time or two here. That brotherly connection not working out on this one, but that doesn't happen all that often. Normally, Birch is pretty sure-handed there. Led all receivers in the opening win over Delaware Valley with 115 yards on 5 catches and a touchdown.
Birch, hands off. Reynolds wrapped and brought down as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Curry makes the tackle for Bethel Park as the clock winds under 2 minutes to go here in quarter number 2.
See, once again, Gators build that super comfortable lead, and then you see the other team start to make some plays. I mean, as hard as it is to stay mentally engaged when you're getting blown out, certainly comes a point where you're up big in a game where, you know, it's almost human nature to kind of take the foot off the gas a little bit. We'll see if they're able to hone it back in here, though, or if they're really just trying to get the clock down to 0 and head to halftime.
Play action. Birch looks right, throws right, complete. Bodie, he fumbles the football. And then we'll cover it back up. It'll be 1st and 10 for Gateway as Patrick Bodie fumbled the ball and then covers it back up. And
oh, no.
Yeah, he's holding his right leg. And now his left side as well. So the athletic training staff out there to take a look at Patrick Bodie, also head coach Don Hall.
That is not good news for this Gators team. I mean, he is the catalyst on this offense. 2 touchdowns tonight. Has been such a dynamic playmaker. Even on the defensive side of the ball, able to make plays. And thank goodness he's able to get up and walk off. Hopefully just got the air taken out of him, got shaken up a little bit. But I'll tell you what, Adam, if this team's going to win the WPIAL title here in a deep 5A, they're going to need number 4 on the field.
That was a circumstance there where I think Bodie had the defender come down with the shoulder on the bare rib cage. And while I saw him grabbing at that right leg, it ended up being an upper body injury. And sometimes when you get hurt but not injured, it hurts more at first as opposed to the lingering pain of an injury. Trips left, 1 receiver right. Birch, play action. Looks left the whole way. Finds his brother Brett Birch. Brett Birch inside of the 35, brought down at around the 30-yard line. A host of black jerseys there for Bethel Park. Leading the charge is Weston Konopka.
That is one thing that the Gators have going for them. And even though number 4 is not on the field, they have such a deep receiving core. One of the many strengths of this team.
Trips right, play action. Looking left the whole way for Harper, and leading Harper out of bounds was Brad Birch that time, or Brad Birch rather. That brings up 2nd down and 10 with 37 seconds to play here in the second quarter. That stops the clock. 2nd and 10 for Gateway with the ball at the Bethel Park 31.
Good play design, trying to go toward the sidelines. You don't have any timeouts left. You got to be really cognizant of where you're at with the clock, but just ran out of sideline there. Didn't give his receiver Harper enough to work with.
Trips right, motion man, right to left. High snap, Birch corrals it, looks right, throws right, sliding catch. No, Birch can't hang on to it on the Birch to Birch connection that time. That brings up 3rd down and 10 for Gateway.
Well, 2 things there. One, probably better he didn't catch that because they would have had to really rush to the line to get the next play off. And 2, if you take a look at the top of your screen, Birch takes a bit of a hit there at the end of that one. Luckily got up and was okay, but definitely kind of had to shake the cobwebs off after Joe Timmons came in and laid the boom on him.
Clock stop, 31 seconds to play, second quarter, 3rd and 10 for Gateway at the Bethel Park 31. Trips right, 1 receiver left, play action. Birch setting up the screen, finds Reynolds. Reynolds has blockers in front of him. He's got the 1st down as he's brought down at the 21-yard line. A gain of 11 when the Gators needed 10.
Well, and that's crucial because it stops the clock for a second while the chain gang moves down and gets situated again. So it allows you to get your offense. And there you see it only took them a few seconds off the clock there. Well, the clock operator let another 1 or 2 ticks go by there, but it only took probably about 2.5 seconds to get that clocked. Good execution there. I'm sure Don Hall is protesting as we all saw a couple seconds trickle off there. It should probably be about 21 seconds. It sits at 19.1 right now.
Well, those are the kind of things that happen that favor the home team.
Oh, absolutely. Although, ironically, last week at Penn Hills, it was working against them. The clock operator was not on top of it.
2 receivers left, 2 to the far side right. Birch steps up into the pocket, spinning. Brought down after a gain of about 1 or 2. They'll say 2 to the 19. And will Gateway hurry up and try to get another play in here, or will they just let the half expire? Looks like they're going to head to the locker room with this 42-13 lead over the Bethel Park Blackhawks. So good first half by Gateway, but marred just a little bit as they head into the locker room.
Yeah, certainly your first priority is hoping that Patrick Bodie is good to go, at least if not for tonight, and you give him the rest of the night off, which honestly at this point maybe not a bad call. but that he's able to continue on this season and be a playmaker for the Gators. And we've seen that multiple times this season. Delaware Valley, Penn Hills last week. Most of the games they've been in this season, we've seen a commanding lead early by the Gators. We've seen them let teams execute in that late second quarter, early third quarter. So we'll see what adjustments get made here. But all in all, I think this has been the most complete half of football we've seen out of the Gators so far this season.
And I thought Gateway looked very good even in that 2-minute drill. While they didn't come through with any points, they did move the ball down the field. They were able to move the ball in a running clock situation. They were able to move it without timeouts as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's always something to be gained. Even in a game you're up 42-13 going into the half, it's circumstantial football because, like we said, you might be having a drive like this right now where it doesn't matter as much within the context of this game, but, you got Penn Trafford coming up. You got Pine Richland next week. This is a team that wants to go deep in the playoffs. You got to be ready for all those situational things. The more that you've been able to be in those situations and prove that you can execute, the more comfortable you become in those situations.
Vince, let's talk about the maturation process of the two sophomores in the offensive backfield, the running back Reynolds, the quarterback Birch.
Yeah, they both look exceptional tonight. Reynolds has picked up right where he left off last week. He's running the ball hard. He's getting himself right in the perfect position on those screen passes. He's made a couple of those plays and gotten down the field. And just super physical. I love what he brings to the table for this offense. I think he completes that offense and gives it some real balance. And then for Birch, he's been elusive. He's been hard to bring down. Has only been sacked once or twice. And he's put the ball where it needs to be, that throw to Bodie, both of them, honestly, into the end zone. Beautiful so far tonight. And so, you got to feel really good about how this team is progressing as the season goes on.
Save the first drive, or the last drive, rather, that led to a score for Bethel Park. The Gators' defense has looked great.
Oh, it has. It has. You talk about that strength in the middle, as we talked about, but I also want to talk about how these teams aren't getting to the edge on Gateway. There's so much speed, there's so much athleticism that not only are they physical, they're just so much more athletic than most of the teams are going to line up against this season. I think that's going to take them a long way. I mean, that defense is literally translated to offense tonight. It's translated to winning the field position battle, dominating the field position battle thus far. They've worked with a short field all night. They've given Bethel Park a long field all night. If you can do that, you're going to win.
Special teams have looked great as well. Vince, real quick, talk about how great they have looked kicking the ball as well as covering kicks.
Absolutely. Well, they did have the blemish there at the end of the half with the kick return touchdown. Petrus made a great play, but beyond that, they've been excellent all season. Heller and company getting in there blocking kicks on almost a nightly basis this season thus far. Engel K is a ball hawk. He picks that one up, takes it to the house, recovers another one later on. I mean, these guys are really keyed in. You can tell they're coached well. They're going out there and they're executing.
Let's send it down to the field. We'll watch the Gateway Band's halftime show, and then we will turn it over to Don Rebel and Chris Harlan for the Trib Live High School Sports Network halftime show. For Vince Russo, I'm Adam Gusky. We'll talk to you again in the second half.
The Gateway Band is directed by Mr. James Helshey, with assistance from Sean McMaster, Ryan Moser, Dave Burnell, with color guard direction by Bob Reed and Deb Costley. Gateway's competitive season will continue next Saturday as the band will take part in the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Marching Band Association competition at York High School. Mr. Helshey and the Gateway Band would like to extend well wishes to Mr. Thompson and the Bethel Park Band for a fantastic season. Thank you for your kind support.
Set to begin half number 2 here in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Adam Gusky, Vince Russo on the call for you here on the Gateway Gators Productions on YouTube, Facebook, and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Want to thank our crew for getting us back up and running on Facebook as well as YouTube here for the second half. And thanks to good folks here at Bethel Park IT for getting us back up and running as well for the second half on both of our video streams. Gateway on top, 42-13 over the Bethel Park Blackhawks as we look forward to half number 2. And there's bad news for Bethel Park. That vaunted Gateway offense is going to take the field first, Vince Russo.
Yeah, I mean, they would have had to at some point, but facing that coming right out of the locker room, they got lucky that the clock stopped the offense for the Gators this past drive because they were driving once again to put even more points on the board before the end of the half there.
Kickoff to the near side for Engelke. He'll fair catch it at around the 26-yard line. And it'll be 1st and 10 for Gateway at that point.
Really says a lot about the skill position players that Gateway possesses that a team like Bethel Park would like to spot the Gators field position anywhere from 26 we've seen now up to the 35. And you're giving 5 to 15 more yards to this offense starting their drive because you're that concerned about making sure the return men for the Gators don't get the ball in open space. That's quite the compliment.
Trips to the right, one receiver left. Birch is in the shotgun. Birch looking left the whole way. The pass is complete to Dallas Harper. Harper is brought down in the open field by Denari Clax, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Gateway on that big pickup on first down.
Good adjustment there. That was a throw in the first half that Birch left a little too far in front of Harper there. Hits it right where it needs to be, puts it right in his gloves. Harper with the nice catch. This offense picks up right where it left off at the end of the last half.
Birch, shotgun. Sidecar to his left. That sidecar takes the handoff. It's Reynolds, and not a lot of room for Jaquan Reynolds, but will still wiggle his way forward for a gain of a couple as the tackle is made by Jacob Santo. No, check that. That's Dom Capone making the tackle on the Reynolds run.
Reynolds is becoming the kind of ball carrier when he gains only 3 yards. It's kind of surprising and kind of disappointing because we're used to seeing him bust it wide open. He came into this game averaging over 5 yards a carry. Again, he just continues to get better as this season goes on.
Motion brings the wing to the left of the formation. Hand off Reynolds. He's going to be met in the backfield, wrapped initially, still on his feet as he slides his way out of a couple of tackles before finally being brought down by Weston Konopka. And that's going to end up costing Gateway big yardage back to the 34-yard line, bringing up 3rd down and long. It'll be 3rd and 17 at this point.
Yeah, that's going to hurt that average, but still, I mean, look how many Blackhawks it took to bring him down to the turf. And he was able to sidestep a decent amount of tackles there, forced to fight his way through, but that play just was broken from the get-go. Somebody missed an assignment. Big number 99. Josh Leibel right back in there as the play started.
Play action. Birch lobbing one. Bodie, he catches it. He's got the 1st down and more. Still on his feet as he's finally brought down at around the 40-yard line. Great to see Patrick Bodie back in the lineup for the Gateway Gators after being shaken up in the latter stages of that second quarter.
Yeah, quite a bit of a scare there, but it looked like, as you said, Adam, he took a shot to the ribs. Little sore, but no worse for the wear. Nice ball here by Birch. You see him take a little off this. I like it. Just kind of drops it in there. Gets his receiver in stride. Bodie with the stiff arm there. He's another guy that's just so hard to bring down in open space, in the open field.
Two receivers right and a wing to that right-hand side. Harper, the lone receiver, to the short side left. Handoff, Reynolds, he's got a crease. He'll drive his way inside of the 40 to around the 38-yard line. Gain of a handful brings up 2nd down and 6. They'll give him a gain of 4 ultimately, as the tackle was made by Leibel for Bethel Park.
It does so much for your offense when you can consistently gain 3 to 5 yards on 1st down, get ahead of the chains, keep your offense in motion and in rhythm. Gateway's done such a good job of that tonight with Reynolds. Wonder as the game goes on if they'll try and get Jameer Harbor a few spot carries here and there.
Handoff, it's Reynolds running to the right-hand side, sliding past some blockers, and he has enough for a Gateway 1st down as he picks up 7 after needing 6.
And this offense keeps chugging along. It's nice to see that they can string drives like this together where they don't have to rely solely on the big play to guys like Bodie or having Reynolds break one open or Harbor or Cariel, whoever is on the recipient end of some of those bigger plays. But to see them be able to methodically just take what the defense gives them, march that ball down the field, hopefully they're able to punctuate that here. So far, so good.
Clock winding, 8:12 to play 3rd quarter. Pass to Harper, near side left. Slides through a tackle. Cuts past another one, but they'll say he steps on the sideline at the 25. That'll bring up 2nd down and a pretty manageable 4.
Nearly stayed in and was able to cut that one back. My goodness, these playmakers just so adept at being aware of where they need to be on the field. He definitely steps there. It's a good call.
So after stepping out of bounds at the 25, it's 2nd down and 4. Birch looks to the sideline, now takes the snap, pitches to Reynolds. Reynolds has a blocker in front of him, and he will slide to the near boundary, close to the 1st down flag, but they will mark him about 2 yards shy at the 23-yard line, the line to gain being the 21.
Just a simple pitch there. Get your halfback out in space. Let him turn the jets on. Reynolds not the fastest guy on the field for the Gators, but that's not meant to put him down because the Gators have ample speed. He had enough there to get close to the sticks. Again, Leibel, talk about a guy that can move well. 6'4", 215 pounds. He got down the sidelines there in a hurry and cut that off.
3rd and 2, Birch. Tosses to the right-hand side to Brett Birch. Has a blocker in front of him. He's got the 1st down and more. Still on his feet inside of the 10. Brought down at around the 9-yard line. What a block by Bodie. He actually was able to take care of 2 Blackhawks on that block.
That's the main thing. I almost stopped watching the ball carry because look at this. I mean, my goodness. 1, 2, just completely opens up that whole side of the field for Birch, and Birch gets it done, gets inside the 10, 1st and goal. But my goodness. Bodie, one of the underrated characteristics for him, he's so physical.
1st and goal for Gateway at the 9-yard line as the handoff. No, it's going to be play action. Tossed to the far boundary, looking for Bodie. Bodie too far out of bounds this time as he cannot keep it inbounds. It'll be 2nd down and goal from the 9-yard line on that incompletion to Bodie.
Still another unreal reception by Bodie, and an adjustment just to catch that ball in general just shows the athleticism he has. So, yeah, he was tailing out pretty far by the time he got his hands on that one.
Getting back to that Bodie block 2 plays ago, when you're an offensive lineman and you're engaged with a linebacker and you see a guy from the secondary coming up and you can use one guy to block another, you love doing that. But you never see it on the boundary like that with a receiver blocking 2 D-backs. Birch going to keep it himself, running to the right-hand side. Stiff arm to the far sideline, and he'll be tossed out of bounds at around the 7, maybe the 6. So they'll give him a gain of 3 to the 6. And it'll be 3rd and goal for Gateway, 6 yards away from pay dirt.
They've executed well on this drive thus far on 3rd down. They've methodically taken what the defense has given them, but now let's see, can they punctuate it? Can they punctuate a drive like this where they didn't have to rely on the big play? See if they look to go to the air here, or if they maybe do a delayed handoff to Reynolds. I would think they'll probably either go the timing route to Bodie or try and get one of these guys like Birch out in the flats, try and make a guy miss.
Birch, hands off. Reynolds running right. He'll be met at the 5, drives his way to around the 4 before he's wrestled out of bounds. That'll bring up 4th down and goal from around the 4-yard line.
I've been clamoring for them to bring out the kicker, full Plaskin, but it looks like they're going to keep the offense out there yet again.
Yeah, 4th and goal from the 4. The offense, at least for the moment, is going to stay out there. Now the play clock is starting to approach the halfway point at 15 here. Play clock now down to 5 as the Gators settle in at the line of scrimmage. Snap in time. Birch finds Bodie. Bodie with the catch. Shouldered at the 1-yard line and retreats to try to cut around a tackler, and he will be brought down shy of the goal line. So a gain of 2. The Gators needed 4 to score, and it will be 1st and 10 for Bethel Park after the turnover on downs by the Gators.
Well, I mean, you got the ball to your best playmaker in open space, but my goodness, what a beautiful open field tackle to save the touchdown there. Denari Clax, really excellent form there, goes low, wraps up, brings the boom, and Bodie's a physical guy. He doesn't go down easy, so quality tackle there, but now this offense has got its work cut out for them.
Yeah, they are backed up to their own 2 as we see the quarterback under center for a rare time today. Max Blank under center. He started under center early in the game, but they shifted to the shotgun or pistol for the majority of the latter stages of the first quarter and into the second.
Oh, that went backwards at him, so they got no room to operate with now. They gave a little bit of forward progress. No, they marched it back inside the 1. I thought they were going to mark it at the 1.
So Volpatti had nowhere to go on that play, bringing up 2nd down and about 11 shy of the 1-yard line. Max Blank in the shotgun, looks left the whole way, pumps and throws left. The pass is complete to that far side for Clax, and Clax will be shouldered out of bounds, but not before picking up the 1st down on a gain of 12 after Bethel Park needed 11.
They needed that. Now you have a little room to breathe. You're not in the shadow of your own end zone, completely at least. Good job by the line there to not hold in the end zone, to give your quarterback enough time, and then give credit to Blank. He put that one right on the money. A good route. Good job by Clax getting himself open.
Blank in the empty set, pressured, wrapped, sacked. Nowhere to go as Brooks climbs up, Blank's back. The big sack back at the 6-yard line. A loss of 7 brings up 2nd down and long.
Oh, man, what a big hit there. Blindsided, too. That's a bad man right there. Wraps him up, takes him to the turf, and my goodness. I'm just surprised he held on to the football there. I mean, he didn't see that coming at all.
So the loss of 7 brings up 2nd down and 17 from the 6. Blank in the shotgun, looks left, throws left. The pass is complete to Kirchner. Tackle made by Bodie. Bodie, who in all likelihood is going to play D-back at the next level, makes another good play in the secondary for Gateway.
Yeah, very sure tackler. Doesn't mind getting in there, getting dirty on the defensive side of the ball. Bearcats are getting a good one with him.
3rd down and about 14 after that gain of 3 on that pass. Pass across the middle this time is complete to a sliding Denari Clax. And Clax will slide down at around the 19, which is 4 yards shy of the line to gain, and the punt unit comes on for Bethel Park.
If that ball's thrown a little bit better, Clax looked like he has enough space to get himself to that 1st down marker. But threw it low and punt team's out. That almost got blocked again.
Punt takes a neutral bounce after initially looking like it was going to go in favor of the Gateway Gators and will be ultimately down just shy of the midfield stripe. So it'll be Gators ball, 1st and 10 at their own 48-yard line with 3:53 to play here in the third quarter. Now, heading into the latter stage of the second quarter, Vince, we were looking forward to the modified timekeeping system. Looked like Gateway was going to take a 35-point lead into the half. Instead, it was a big kick return for Petrus to cut that lead to 29 for Gateway.
That announcer's curse, right?
Yeah, for sure. Next up for Gateway next weekend. It's Friday night lights in Monroeville, Pennsylvania, as the Pine Richland Rams take on the Gateway Gators. Vince Russo and I will be on the call on community night in Monroeville as Gateway takes on Pine Richland and two of the top programs in 5A. Play action for Birch. Tosses it, and he was looking for a Gator over there on the near sideline, and instead the the passes intercepted. It was intended for Malachi Moore, and the interception by Konopka, and Konopka has, I think, pulled himself cramp here. But a poor pass there by Birch, and we saw a couple of those last week as he threw 3 INTs.
This one seemed more like some sort of miscommunication. That the receiver went one way, and he thought that they were going to go another. And so that one was just thrown to the complete wrong person in anticipation that the receiver was going to do something different. And yeah, hopefully just a cramp here for Konopka, as he didn't even really get tackled. He just sort of went limp right around midfield and fell forward to where he's at now. But it's a big break for the Blackhawks as far as the field position goes and for turning things over. And, in a game like this, I mean, you can't say that they don't have a chance to come back. They very likely don't, but you start building all these things out for section play. And so you get some momentum here. You can say against the top team in 5A after you kind of got that deer in the headlights look, went down 28-0 in the first quarter. They've really hung in there with Gateway since that time. Gateway's still playing like the better team, but Bethel Park certainly bringing forth a bit more competitiveness in this game, shall we say.
Highlighted game of the night in 5A. Peters Township at the Penn Trafford Warriors, and it is in the early stages of the third quarter. 12-7 Peters over Penn Trafford. Play action. Blank now pressured, wrapped, and sacked. Late pressure applied by Asante Martin, and Martin makes the play back at the 45.
Battle just came in like he wasn't even touched. Had a straight line at the quarterback, and there's been a few of those tonight. If you're Bethel Park, you've really got to go back to the drawing board and work on that. You can't have your quarterback getting hit from behind multiple times in a game like that.
Pass to Volpatti. Volpatti hit by Brooks and brought down. They're going to give him actually across the original line of scrimmage and to the 45-yard line. So a nice gainer there. A pickup of 10 on second and 18 brings up 3rd down and 8.
And Volpatti holding his wrist. Looks like he might have been injured on that play. That'd be a big loss for Bethel Park. He's been one of their best playmakers thus far in the early goings of this season.
2 receivers right, 2 to the short side left. Sidecar to the right-hand side of Blank. Toss complete over to this near side left as Jack Kirchner catches that football. Looked like Jameer Harbor had an opportunity to make a defensive play there. Instead, he ran past the intended receiver, ran past the football, and it leads to a Bethel Park 1st down as this clock continues to wind down towards 2 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Well, credit to Blank. He looks off of the receiver. He looks at his option in the flats for a minute. I think that sort of threw the defense off, and then switches the eyes at the last minute, sees Kirshner, puts the ball right on the money. That was a really good play there, both mentally and physically from Blank.
Blank looking left the whole way, has a receiver open. A long pass is incomplete, and I think Gateway is going to be guilty of a roughing the passer, and that will be the call against the Gateway Gators as pressure came in late and Max Blank got hit late after releasing that football. That's going to cost Gateway 15 yards. It'll be a 1st down for Bethel Park, and they will have the ball inside of the Gators' red zone for the first time today, other than on 2 big plays, while it was the freshman Ryan Petrus running the football towards the goal line.
They're going to call that every time. They're so cognizant of those vulnerable plays, whether, in this case, the quarterback, receivers, things like that. We've seen so much more of an emphasis in the rule book on protecting defenseless players that are in vulnerable positions.
Blank off of play action, has his intended receiver down underneath, and the pass is complete to Timmons. Timmons will shake his way down towards the first down flag, and it will be enough for a Bethel Park first down. And it'll be first and goal for the Blackhawks at the 7.
Coach DeLallo calls him the team's Swiss Army knife. Plays tight end, fullback on offense, linebacker and end on defense, and does whatever they ask him to do, never complains. Said he's a great teammate, and they're able to use his size to stumble, rumble, get himself all the way down inside the 10, set up a goal-to-go situation here.
Under a minute and a half to go in the third quarter. The Blackhawks go to the ground on the end around. The ball carrier is Kirchner. Not much room as Elijah Heller makes the open field tackle for Gateway from his cornerback spot.
He came over with a ton of speed and just cut the legs out under Kirchner. That was a really good play by Heller, not allowing the ball carrier to really fully get that edge there. Take another look. I just love the intensity and the speed that Heller plays with. He's always going 100 miles an hour out there. He does not blink for a second.
So Blank in the shotgun with trips to his right. Now a motion to an empty set. Pass to Volpatti to the near side right. He's going to be strung out trying to cut it back to no avail as the tackle will be made by Jameer Harbor and a flag comes in as well. Gateway may be guilty of a face mask here.
I think, yep. And you see the gesture there from the official. It did look like someone got in there. So that's going to create a little easier sledding here for Bethel Park. Now, is that an automatic first down in high school?
Well, we're about to find out. Personal foul, face mask against Gateway. It'll be half the distance to the goal and replay second down, so it is a replay the down, not an automatic first down.
Another score I saw that be of interest to Gateway fans. Moon was up 24-7 on North Hills at halftime. That's your number one team right in front of the Gators.
Motion man from left to right as the pitch will go to Volpatti. He's got nowhere to go as a flag will come in. I think Gateway's going to, rather Bethel Park's going to be guilty of a hold after the stop was made down around that line of scrimmage by the Gateway Gators defense. So holding against Bethel Park's going to cost them 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Spot of the foul right around the line of scrimmage at the 2. So this will be pushed back to the 10. So now it'll be second and goal from the 12 for Bethel Park.
From the Blackhawks, I try to go back to the slant route or crossing route across the middle, try and give Blank a few seconds to settle in the pocket. That's been really successful for them. As you see here on the replay, just not really getting much traction with the running game at all tonight. It just hasn't been there for them. Gateway just so stout on that interior of the defense at front 7.
Clock waning in the third quarter as the Blackhawks will go to the air. The pass completed to Joe Timmons, and Timmons will be brought down in the open field after a gain of about 4 to the 7-yard line, maybe a gain of 5 to that 7-yard line, and that'll be the final play of the third quarter. And we will head to the fourth frame with the score the same way it was after 3 quarters, Gateway 42 and Bethel Park 13. And this has been a very quick quarter, Vince, because both of these football teams have used the ground game and completed passes to move the ball. However, neither team has been able to crack the scoreboard.
Yeah, interesting. Both offenses look like they've really settled in and found some momentum, but both drives, well, we can't speak for Bethel Park just yet, but they're kind of stalling, having a little trouble getting across the goal line here. The Gators, they did stall out on their drive, got stopped on a fourth down play, an excellent tackle, stopping Bodie just short of the goal line.
While we wait for this fourth quarter to start, talk about how Birch just continues to mature. Basically every play we see him make a little bit of a better decision, mature a bit at this 5A level as he continues to adjust to playing at Gateway as opposed to Jeanette.
Right, night and day from the last contest against Penn Hills. I thought he was really trying to force the issue. 3 interceptions to the same player on defense means you're trying to do something that's not working, and you're continuing to just bash your head against a brick wall. Today, he's spread the wealth around. He's getting the ball out. Looks a lot like what he did week 0 against Delaware Valley, where he's getting all of his playmakers involved. He's taking good care of the football. I think that interception was a miscommunication between him and the receiver, so I'm not absolving him by any means, but it's different than trying to force it into tight coverage. There was just a miscommunication there.
On the other side of the football, it doesn't seem like Gateway's getting after the quarterback and finding themselves in the backfield of Bethel Park like they did in the first half.
My goodness. Like I said, Max Blank, he's going to need to ice up after this one. I mean, getting blindsided. His line needs to take better care of him. But it's hard when you've got the guys down there on the interior that Gateway has. And I think that Thomas Jefferson game hopefully was a wake-up call for them that, we got to get back in the weight room and we got to figure this out. We got to get ready because there's going to be other teams like the Moon Tigers, should they face them in the playoffs, that are going to come out and see that tape and try and punch Gateway in the mouth. So far tonight, Bethel Park has got nothing going on the ground game. 3rd
and goal from the 7. End around run for the Bethel Park Blackhawks. Nowhere to go for the freshman this time, Petrus. The Gators were all over that one. They sniffed it out. Nice job on the edge by a Gator over here on that near side. Demetrius Harper. Now, Harper's slow to get to his feet. I think he may have pulled up with a cramp there. But he was the one who forced that play back inside and allowed the Gators to come over and make the stop.
Harper looked like he's grabbing at his knee a little bit, but he's able to extend it and move it. So that's a positive. Hopefully it is just a cramp.
Yeah, you've got to hope that that's what it is. And, it's a humid night, undoubtedly.
For late September?
Very warm night.
My goodness,
yeah. Undoubtedly. And considering how relatively cool it was last Friday night, a beautiful night for high school football, considerably warmer, considerably more humid tonight. Much more like a week 0 or week 1 game would be as opposed to a week 3 game.
I'll tell you what, though. I was here week 0 for that Bethel Park Mount Lebanon game. It was like 90 degrees in here.
Yeah, pretty hot night here. Hot night back in week number 0 or week 1. Still don't quite get that week 0 thing. And I get because you have the option of either playing a game or scrimmaging, but at this point it seems like pretty much everybody plays a game. Good news for Gators fans as Demetrius Harper is to his feet, walks to the far sideline, not even a hitch in his giddy-ups. And that's good news for Gateway. Bethel Park right now facing a 4th down and goal from the 7. They'll say no gain on that previous play by Petrus on the end around.
I mean, Bethel Park's trying to throw everything at him. Misdirection, short passes, jet sweeps. Gateway's just staying at home. They're disciplined. And they're playing just so incredibly well on the defensive side of the ball.
Motion man from left to right brings trips to the right of the formation. Pressure now on Blank. Blank tosses to Petrus, and Petrus had it in his hands and then dropped the football. He had it a beat towards the end zone, but the pass and catch not just on the mark enough. Turnover on downs, so both teams move the ball all the way to a 4th and goal situation before the TOD.
Yeah, that's on Petrus there. I thought that was an excellent throw by Blank, especially as he's getting pursued, got flushed out of the pocket to be able to put that one right. Because, I mean, that hit the gloves. So you know the rule. If it hits the gloves, you're supposed to come down with it. Petrus just couldn't extend far enough for that one.
So the Gators will go straight from the sideline to the line of scrimmage here on 1st and 10 with the ball at their own 7-yard line. 11:36 to play in regulation. Gateway up 42-13. This was the halftime score. Gateway led by as many as 42-6. But Petrus with a big kick return for a touchdown changed that score quickly as the Gators will go to the ground. It's Jaquan Reynolds, the ball carrier. Maybe a yard, maybe no gain, and that'll bring up 2nd down, and it will be 10.
Yeah, nowhere to go there for Reynolds. His defense has bounced back in a strong way for Bethel Park. They've looked the part here in the second half.
2 receivers left. One to the short side right and her wing to the right as well as Birch looks right, feels pressure, steps up into the pocket, throws the pass, complete. Gateway first down and more as the pass is complete out across the middle for Malachi Moore, and he is finally brought down as he crosses the 25 out to the 26.
Haven't seen much of Moore incorporated into the offense thus far this season. He was someone that was a reliable sort of check down option. I believe he played some running back last season as well. Again, it just shows you the sheer depth that this Gators team has at the skill position. That there's guys that were staples last year that aren't getting quite as many looks because they just got so many guys that they can get the ball to.
Brad Birch in the shotgun. Motion man is Brett Birch from left to right. Instead, the Gators will go against that motion, and it'll be Reynolds on the ground, driven back. Tackle by Kirchner. That brings up 2nd down and 10.
Well, and this was what we thought we'd be getting with Bethel Park, returning so many of their linemen. That was really supposed to be a strength for this team this year in the early going, and still on the offensive side for Bethel Park. Gateway's really controlled the line of scrimmage, but getting a little bit of push here, starting to, again, look the part on that facet of their game as well here. Starting to kind of block things up in the run game.
Moore motion, settles to the left-hand side as a wing on that left. Handoff Reynolds, big crease. He's got the first down, shakes and bakes his way forward towards the 40-yard line where he will finally be brought down, but that's enough for a Gators first down. 1st and 10 for Gateway at the 40.
Reynolds just hits the hole so hard. There's no hesitation. You see just a good job, tries to make the man miss there. Beautiful run. That's what sticking with the run game gives you. If you can rip off a few yards consistently, you wear that defense down, and all it takes is that one carry to really blow things open. Now they've got a fresh set of downs almost near midfield.
Birch in the shotgun. Again, he'll hand off. Crease for Reynolds. And he will drive his way forward for a gain of 9. And right now, this is what offensive linemen love. Waning moments of a football game. Keep it on the ground. Keep driving that football, picking up big chunks each play.
Yeah, good block there, sealing the edge. Malachi Moore allowing Reynolds to get that jump through the hole.
Tyler Stewart ended up making the tackle for Bethel Park, but not before that 8-yard gain brings up 2nd down and 2 for the Gators, just 2 yards shy of the midfield stripe. Gators go to the ground, and Jameer Harbor nowhere to go. In fact, he is met a couple yards deep in the backfield. Loss of 2 brings up 3rd down and 4.
Yeah, big Dom Capone getting in there. Just puts that big claw out there and grabs him up around the top of the jersey. Throws him down. It's a heck of a name, Dom Capone.
Capone, 6 feet, 300 pounds. Trying to stuff up the middle of that front for the Gateway Gators. 3rd and 4 for Gateway. Handoff, no play action. Pass complete to Bodie. Bodie with a Blackhawk on his back, but it'll be 1st and 10 for Gateway inside of Bethel Park territory. Birch to Bodie, and it's a Gators first down.
You know, Bodie's a lanky 6'2" at 184 as he's listed on the roster. He's strong. He's got just a natural strength to him. You take a look here as he just gives a piggyback ride to Jack Riley. Riley, that's 165 pounds on his back. He drug him for close to 10 yards.
Penn Trafford now up 14-12 late in the 3rd quarter on Peters Township as Gateway will go to the ground. This time it is Harbor shouldering off of a Bethel Park Blackhawk before finally being stopped at around the 28-yard line. Tough yards there. A gain of 5 brings up 2nd and 5.
I like seeing Harbor get a few carries here late in this contest. See what a second back can give you as we progress through the season. You know, you're always one hit away from having to go to a backup. So when you can get these live in-game reps on a Friday night on the varsity field under the crowd, good chunk there.
So 2nd and 5. Trips right. Wing to the right as well as the Gators will go to the air. Nice reception by the back out of the backfield. It's Jaquan Reynolds. Reynolds finally brought down at around the 10-yard line, and a big gainer there. Down to the 10. It's 1st and goal for Gateway.
Yeah, they've been lethal with that thus far this season. Just that simple pitch and catch out of the backfield. Reynolds, again, not the speediest guy, but he's shifty. He doesn't hesitate all that much. He knows where he wants to go. He hits the hole hard, follows his blockers. He's got good vision. That was a nice gain there. Another goal-to-go situation.
Birch, hands off. Reynolds, he's going to be brought down in the backfield. Nowhere to go to the short side right as Joe Timmons, his number mate, makes the stop. We already talked about it earlier, but Timmons, when you look at his positions, tight end, running back, defensive line, linebacker, he's got pretty much all of them covered.
They call him the Swiss Army knife. It's appropriate.
He's one of those H-back type players that wiggles his way into the NFL that, you know, has a couple-year career because he has versatility. Trips left, tight end right. Play action. Birch throws it across the middle to Bodie. Bodie into the end zone for a Gateway touchdown, and the Gators extend their lead to 48-13 with just under 5 minutes to play here in regulation.
Hilariously enough, they had Harper standing by himself on the 10-yard line, just sort of waving his hands like, hey guys, I'm here, I'm open. But credit, that's a great throw with a lot of black jerseys there, puts the right amount of touch on it. Bodie with the secure hands just muscles his way in. That connection's starting to look pretty darn good.
It sure is. Now, 3 or 4 black jerseys, like you said, Vince, were bracketing Bodie. But the problem was none of them really got between Bodie and Birch, and that allowed the pass to be zipped in there by the sophomore quarterback. And with the PAT, Gateway has extended their lead now to 49-13, and we do move to the modified timekeeping system after this kickoff.
Third connection on the evening between Birch and Bodie. Like to see that chemistry continue to develop as we get towards the conference slate.
Next up for us on Gateway Gators Productions this upcoming Monday is the Gateway girls soccer team will take on the Indiana Indians on Monday evening. Spencer Witt will be on the call for that one. We have 3 games on the slate for Gateway Gator Productions next week, as we will have girls soccer on Monday, volleyball on Thursday, and then it will be Friday night lights. But you see it there, Gateway taking on Norwin in volleyball next Thursday, September 23rd, before we cap off the week with the home football game between Gateway and Pine Richland.
It's going to be a busy week.
Sure do. Unfortunately, we weren't able to bring you a Gateway game of the week this past week. Volleyball swapped their games with Connellsville to have senior night against the Connellsville Falcons coming up on October 12th, and in all likelihood, we'll have coverage of that one here on Gateway Gator Productions as well, as this kick by Plaskin will carry down towards the 10-yard line and will be returned by that speedy freshman, Ryan Petrus, and he'll finally be brought down out towards the 40-yard line. We saw great coverage by Gateway up until Petrus started returning kicks for the Bethel Park Blackhawks.
Yeah, they're really onto something with this kid. He's got some wheels and good vision to boot. Another guy that doesn't try to do too much. He finds the hole, hits it hard, and just tries to use that speed to get past people. They have some pieces here. This would not surprise me if this is a team that continues to mature Bethel Park, that has some younger guys in key positions, that maybe they sneak in as a middle to back end playoff team and then make life a little difficult in the first round for whoever they match up with. Gateway
starting to bring in some fresh faces as the Clock is winding here down towards 3 minutes 35 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. As I said, we are now in the modified timekeeping system. Timeout is called.
I will say this, though. Bethel Park likely in the deepest part of 5A. I mean, what a juggernaut of a section that is. You got South Fayette, who is always a perennial contender in 4A, who's moved up, who's still continuing to play at a high level. You've got Upper St. Clair that always seems to be in the mix. I mean, Peters, like we said, they're trying to go to their third consecutive. They just took the lead, or rescinded the lead, right?
Yes.
Penn Trafford took the lead on them, but still, that's a dogfight over there. And then you got West Allegheny and Moon, two physical teams. There's going to be no easy nights in this Allegheny 6 conference.
Yeah, Moon the up-and-comer, but a lot of established names in the rest of that conference, both in the South Hills and in the western suburbs of Pittsburgh. To the ground go the Blackhawks. And it's Harliak. Gain of about 1 brings up second down and 9.
Boy, I can't talk about it enough, and I'm sure the viewers at home are excited too. Next week, Pine Richland, a game we didn't get last year. That's really going to be a lot of fun.
It'll be a great crowd in Monroeville. Knock on wood, the early weather forecast holds up. Temperature in the high 60s, clear skies. And it's to the ground go the Blackhawks again. It's Harliak. Finally brought down up near the first down marker at the midfield stripe, and they will say it's enough for a first down.
Donovan Biggs coming up and laying the boom there at the end, helping out with the tackle. Good vision to cut that one back. See him come in there at the end, lay a wallop on him. Malachi Moore also dragging him down from behind.
Quarterback for Bethel Park right now is John Barr, the junior. Barr's going to hand off. Harliak, the ball carrier. Tackle made by Ricariel. Jordan Tyree also in on the tackle for Gateway as the clock continues to wind. Under 2 minutes to play in regulation. Gateway, after opening up this 36-point lead, the clock winds here in the fourth and final frame.
I think if you're Coach Don Hall, you come away with this one certainly not feeling that it was a perfect performance, but pretty darn close.
Second and about 7 for Bethel Park. Blackhawks go to the ground. Nowhere to go for Harliak this time, as one of those defensive linemen was in there quickly making the play for the Gators. It was Jordan Tyree out of his outside linebacker spot.
Yeah, Mari Haynes getting in there as well. 51, DeMarlo Harris.
How about DeMarlo Harris tackling the pile there? That's the way you get it done. Grab a hold of anybody you can. 5'11", 235-pound senior get involved in the play.
And you've been waiting all night to get out there and get playing. You're just ready to hit whoever's in front of you.
Under a minute to play here at Bethel Park. Gateway up 49-13 as pretty much all reserves on the field for both teams. Guys that are going to be playing tomorrow in the JV game. As Bethel Park goes to the ground again, it's Harliak. Nice open field tackle for the Gators as Amari Haynes makes the stop for Gateway. Under 30 seconds to go here. In fact, under 20 at this point.
Yeah,
Bethel Park doesn't have to run a play. So that will be the final play of the football game as the Gateway Gators defeat the Bethel Park Blackhawks by a final score of 49-13. And it was good to see Gateway have their backs pushed up against the wall a little bit, but not relinquish any more points. And they actually ended up adding a few points in that second half and taking it to the modified timekeeping system.
They did. They came out. They played well. I thought Bethel Park was coached well in the second half. those halftime adjustments, they came out. They did some things. They did some things well. Credit them. They put together some drives. They scored some points. They made some special teams plays, and defensively, they really tightened up on that running game. But credit to Gateway, they stuck with it. They didn't go away from it. They allowed Jaquan Reynolds and Jameer Harbor to wind that clock down. And Birch, I think Birch took a really big step tonight as the face of this offense, being able to get that ball to Bodie, establish that camaraderie between the two. If he's able to play like this consistently, the Gators really might be the favorite in 5A.
And getting comfortable with Bodie is a good thing because he's already comfortable with his brother Brett, so that gives him a second comfortable target to go along with the other options that Gateway has as well.
He does. Dallas Harper got pretty involved tonight on the offensive side of the ball. They've got a breadth of options to get the ball. And even Reynolds coming out of the backfield had 4 or 5 receptions that really opened things up for this offense. And the more that they're able to diversify what they do, it just makes it that much harder for opposing teams to game plan and nullify. Because, okay, you want to double Bodie, you want to take him out of the game, that's fine. We got other guys that we can trust, other guys that we can go to that are going to make plays.
Other side of the football, the Gateway defense looked good, only relinquishing 1 touchdown, and when their backs were up against the wall in the second half, they forced the turnover on downs and kept Bethel Park off of the scoreboard in the second half.
They really did. This was a team that, as we said, only forced 2 turnovers in general coming into this game tonight. They were able to turn over Bethel Park multiple times, made them uncomfortable, made them go away from what they're used to in their ground game with Volpatti, forced them to go to the air, and Blank made some good throws. He adjusted, but by and large, whenever you're able to take away a team's strength like that and make them play from behind, you're going to have some success, and Gateway really did that tonight.
Scoop and Score got things started for Carson Engelke, but of course not only did we see Engelke do good things, but we saw great contributions defensively on all 3 levels, the line, linebackers, and in the secondary.
They really did look like a complete unit tonight. Guys in the secondary wrapping up and tackling well, good coverage. Like I said, Blank got some momentum. He put some throws where they needed to be in the second half, but you never got the sense that Gateway was out of position. A lot of the screen plays, the jet sweeps. I mean, Bethel Park, like I said, on that drive where they got down to the goal and go situation, they tried everything, but Gateway snuffed it out every time. They were ready. They were well coached. They never looked fooled by anything tonight.
Next week for the Gateway Gators, it's the Pine Richland Rams, a big non-conference contest as Gateway wraps up their non-conference slate this season in style with the defending state champs at the 5A level.
It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be such a great matchup. Certainly, there's some playmakers on both sides of both programs that aren't there from last year, and certainly that is sad because both teams lost some incredibly talented individuals. But I think we've seen that both programs return some really, really talented guys, and these are 2 teams that are very used to playing football in November, and so we get an early taste of that here in the non-conference slate. It's going to be a great one.
It sure is, and we will have it for you here on Gateway Gator Productions. Kickoff set for 7 p.m. next Friday night in Monroeville, Pennsylvania, and again, we will have the coverage for you on NFHS and on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Well, that'll do it for today. For my broadcast partner, Vince Russo, and our entire crew, I'm Adam Gusky. Thanking you for joining us one final time. Gateway 49, Bethel Park 13, and you've seen it all here on YouTube, Facebook, and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.